Kara Ellis stood alone on the rooftop of the Earth Embassy ship, her eyes fixed on the stars. The cold wind of space brushed her cheeks, but the cold inside her heart was heavier. She had just returned from the Galactic Senate, the place where dreams were supposed to come true, where species from across the galaxy met to share knowledge, trade, and peace. But for Earth, that dream had turned into a nightmare. The Senate had voted. The message was clear. Earth is hereby banned from the Galactic Alliance. Humans are not ready. They are too emotional, too wild, too dangerous. Kara remembered sitting there, her heart pounding as the vote passed. She had spent 3 years preparing for that moment, learning alien languages, studying customs, building bridges. She had even made friends among the other species. But when it came time to decide, none of that mattered. She was just a human, and humans were not welcome. Back on Earth, the news spread like fire. People were angry, confused, and hurt. Protests filled the streets. Children cried, asking why the galaxy hated them. Scientists and artists, dreamers and explorers all felt the same pain. Kara didn't sleep much. She kept thinking about someone she cared about, Deep Lajoral Tan, her alien friend from the Senate. He was a quiet senator from a small world, one of the few who had treated her kindly. He had promised to vote for Earth, but he didn't. He had stayed silent now. Kara didn't know if he had changed, or if he was forced to. She felt distant from him, like a star that was once bright and now faded. She wanted to talk to him, ask him why, but she didn't even know if he would answer, or if she could trust his words. Kara sat in her small room, looking at the photo on her desk. It showed her and Jor-El standing beside a glowing water garden during the early days of the peace talks. They were laughing. It's both hopeful. Now, it felt like another life. A message blinked on her tablet. It was from her team leader. We begin Project Horizon tomorrow. The vote is done. But we move forward. Project Horizon. It was humanity's answer to the ban. If the galaxy would not accept Earth, then Earth would build something of its own. But Kara couldn't stop thinking about Jor-El. He had taught her about peace and patience. He had believed in humans, at least she thought he had. She whispered to herself, "Why didn't you speak for us?" The next morning, she stood in the council hall with the other Earth leaders. Scientists, engineers, teachers, and diplomats. No soldiers. No weapons, just minds. And hearts. They gathered not to plan revenge, but to plan a future. The mission was simple. Explore, help, connect. They would travel to distant, quiet corners of the galaxy, the places the Empire had forgotten. They would offer help, share knowledge, build schools and homes, not because they wanted power, because they remembered what it felt like to be ignored. Kara gave a short speech to the group. Her voice was calm but strong. Let's not become bitter. Let's not close our hearts. Let's build something worth believing in. For us, for others, for those who don't have a voice. They all nodded. Hope was a small flame, but it was still burning. That night, Kara sat alone again. But this time, she wrote a message to Jor. It was short. I don't understand what happened, but I hope you're safe. I hope you still believe in what we once spoke of. We're starting something new. Not to fight, but to grow. I don't know if you care anymore, but I do. She hit send. Maybe he would never reply, but sending it made her feel lighter. Because even when you feel distant from someone you care about, even when the world turns cold, you can still choose hope. And sometimes hope is the most human thing there is. Kara Ellis walked through the halls of Earth's new space center, her steps slow and quiet. The white walls were filled with blueprints, ideas, and maps of deep space. People were talking, planning, and dreaming of the future. But Kara's heart still felt heavy. It had been weeks since the Galactic Empire banned Earth. Weeks since her friend, Jor-El Tan, someone she trusted, stayed silent during the vote. She hadn't heard from him. Not a single word. Her message had gone unanswered. He had moved away from her life, from everything they shared. And now she didn't know if that bond would ever return. Kara sat at her desk, surrounded by plans for Project Horizon. The mission was growing fast. Humanity had decided not to fight the Empire. Instead, they would explore the forgotten parts of the galaxy and offer kindness. It was bold. It was peaceful. It was deeply human. But Kara couldn't stop thinking about Jor-El. Sometimes late at night, she would replay old conversations in her mind. His voice, his calm words. The way he had once said, "Humans see the world with feeling. That makes them dangerous, but also beautiful." Did he still believe that? Or had he given up on her like the rest of the Empire? The next morning, Kara joined a meeting with leaders from Earth's nations. For the first time in history, humanity was united not against an enemy, but for a common dream. An old engineer, Mr. Kim, spoke softly. "They didn't want us, but we are not building walls. We are building bridges for those who feel as lost as we once did." Everyone agreed. Kara raised her hand. "We must also send messages. Let them know who we are, what we believe, even if they don't answer." Someone asked, "But who will listen?" Kara smiled gently. "Sometimes the people who feel most alone listen the hardest." Later, she worked on a ship design called the Open Hand. It was not built for war. It was a peaceful vessel, with rooms for guests, gardens for rest, and a library of Earth's music, art, and books. This ship would visit distant colonies, share Earth's gifts, show that humans were more than their mistakes. She remembered a line Jor-El once said, "Your people write poems even in the middle of storms." Kara looked out the window, her eyes wet. She missed her friend, not just for what he had been to her, but for what they could have built together. One evening, while walking alone near the shipyard, she saw a young boy crying near a food stall. Kara knelt beside him. "What's wrong?" she asked gently. "My mom's going to a far planet with the builders," he said. "I won't see her for years." Kara gave him a soft smile. "When people we love move away, it hurts. But sometimes they go because they want to make the world better for us." He wiped his eyes. "But I want to talk to her. I don't know how." Kara reached into her bag and handed him a small voice recorder. "Speak your heart," she said. "Send it. Even if she can't answer right away, she'll feel it." The boy looked up at her. "Do you do that too?" Kara nodded slowly. "Yes. There's someone I miss too." That night she sat in her room again. The stars outside looked the same, but something in her heart had shifted. She turned on her recorder. "Jor-El," she said, her voice soft, "you moved away from me, from us, but I still believe in what we shared. I don't know what held you back. Fear. Pressure. Maybe I'll never know." She paused. "We're building something now, something real. If you ever feel lost or tired of silence, there's a place here for you. Not as a senator, but as my friend." She didn't send it right away. Recording it made her breathe easier. The next morning, Kara helped launch the first group of ships. Flags of many Earth nations were painted on them. Each one carried aid, knowledge, and hope. As the ships rose into the sky, children cheered. Old people cried. Kara stood with her hand over her heart. Earth was not giving up. They were moving forward, with open hands and hopeful eyes. Even if the people they cared about were far away, even if answers never came, because that is what made them human. They cared. They tried. They hoped. And sometimes that was enough to start a new chapter in the stars. Kara Ellis stood at the edge of the landing bay as the ramp of the Open Hand slowly lowered to the ground. Warm air from a desert planet touched her skin. Before her stretched the dusty land of Avaran 5, a world once rich, now forgotten by the Galactic Empire. The sun was red and low in the sky. Strange birds flew in the distance. Kara could see the broken towers of an old mining station. Children sat on rooftops, watching the human ship with wide eyes. This was the consortium's first visit to an alien world. Not to conquer, not to take, but to offer help. And yet, as she stepped off the ship, Kara felt something missing in her heart. She had sent another message to Jor-El Tan before the trip. It was short, warm, honest. She told him what they were doing, where they were going. She ended it with a simple line, "I hope you are well." But again, no reply. The people of Avaran 5 gathered slowly. They were insectoid beings, called Zelari, with soft wings and shining black eyes. Their leader, a scientist named Drinsha, stepped forward. "You are human?" she asked. Kara nodded with a gentle smile. "Yes, we come to listen, to help." Drinsha looked surprised. "You want nothing in return?" "No," Kara said. "We know how it feels to be forgotten." For the next 2 weeks, Kara and her team repaired water systems, shared Earth's solar tech, and taught the local children how to use new learning tablets. In return, Zelari offered music, beautiful sounds made with wind, and Crystallan told stories of their lost history. One night, around a small fire, Drinsha asked, "Why do you do this, even after the galaxy turned away from you?" Kara looked up at the stars. Her voice was calm but full of feeling, because we still believe we can be more. That helping others is not weakness. It's strength. That's what being human means. Drinsha was silent for a long moment. Then she said, "You remind me of someone I knew once." She used to say such things too, later that night, alone. In her tent, Kara opened her tablet and looked at Joral's profile again. His image was still there, the same gentle smile, same kind eyes, but the connection between them felt like a broken bridge. She didn't know if he was busy, or afraid, or just done with her. It made her chest feel tight. Still, she wrote a message again, not asking for answers, not demanding anything, just saying, "I saw children laugh today. Not because of us, but because they had clean water for the first time in years." That made the pain a little lighter. She hit send. Days passed. The work continued. More ships from Earth arrived, bringing new tools and people from different nations. An artist from Kenya painted a mural on one of the crumbling walls, children of many species holding hands. A cook from Pakistan taught Zelari families how to bake flatbread in solar ovens. An engineer from Japan showed local teenagers how to repair machines. The Zelari started calling the humans the givers. Kara smiled when she heard that. "We're not here to give everything," she said, "only to remind others they still matter." Then something unexpected happened. A ship arrived. Not human, not Zelari. It was small, silver, and shaped like a petal. Kara watched as it landed quietly, near the edge of the field. One figure stepped out. It was an alien in a long robe. His skin shimmered slightly in the light. Kara's heart skipped. It was not Jor-El, but the being walked up slowly and said, "I bring greetings from the planet Telron. We heard what you were doing. We wish to know more." Kara's eyes filled with quiet tears. This was it, the first ripple. The first stranger to come, not to judge, but to learn. She offered her hand. "You are welcome here." That night, under the stars, she didn't check her tablet. She didn't wait for Jor-El's reply. For the first time, she felt something different. Not just pain from losing a friend, but peace from building something new. She whispered to herself, "Maybe he's still out there. Maybe he's watching. But even if he's not, I will keep going, because that's what humans do. They love, they fall, they stand again. And they plant seeds in places no one else dares to." The first seeds of unity had been planted, and hope was starting to grow. Kara Ellis stood on the balcony of a crystal tower on the planet Tiro 6, looking down at the sea of lights below. She had just spoken at a quiet gathering of small world leaders from forgotten places, small colonies, and species that the Galactic Empire had long ignored. It had not been a grand event. No cameras, no press. Just voices, gentle, uncertain, but real. And for the first time in a long time, Kara felt something shift. But deep in her heart, she still felt distant from someone who used to believe in her, the one person she wanted. To share all this with Jorl Tan. Earlier that day, Kara had stood in a round hall made of smooth stone. Around her sat representatives from 15 different species, each one quietly watching her. She began simply, "I am Kara. I come from Earth. My planet was banned. Our voice was taken away. But we are still here, still speaking, still helping." Many of them looked down. Some nodded. A few seemed ready to cry, Kara continued, her voice soft. I know what it feels like to be small, to be forgotten, to be told you are not enough. But I also know something else. She paused and placed her hand over her chest. I know that being human means we keep trying, even when the world turns away. After her speech, a gentle being named Rune came to her. He was from a species with long fingers and shimmering skin, and his eyes were always full of sadness. You speak with feeling, Rune said. Why? Kara gave a small smile. Because we were hurt. But we didn't let the pain close our hearts. Rune nodded. That's rare, Kara replied. It's human. Later, she sat alone in her small guest room, looking at the stars from the window. Her tablet lay beside her. There was still no reply from Jor-El. She touched the screen softly. She remembered the way. He used to ask questions about Earth, how he would sit quietly and listen to her talk about her family, music, and oceans. He had once said, your world is loud but warm. Now there was only silence. He had moved away not just in space, but in spirit. Still she longed for a connection, not just as a diplomat, but as a friend. Kara opened her journal and began to write. Today I spoke to the voiceless. People who have been quiet for too long. I didn't give them power. I reminded them they had it all along. She closed the book and breathed in. The stars outside blinked softly. Somewhere out there, Jor-El was watching maybe, listening maybe, still caring maybe, the next day. Kara and her team helped set up a broadcast center for small worlds to share their stories. It was a simple system-just voice, no video. But it was enough. One young girl from a forgotten moon sang a song in her native language. A farmer from a cold planet told how Earth's solar tech had saved his village, a child said. I didn't know humans cared about people like us. Kara felt her eyes sting with tears. She spoke last. This is not a speech, she said gently. This is a whisper. A whisper that says, you matter, we see you, we hear you. Later that evening, she went to the communication tower and looked up. At the stars, she opened her tablet and recorded a message. Jor-El, she whispered, I don't know why you left. I don't know if you hear me anymore, but I want you to know we are doing good things. People are smiling again, not because we are strong, but because we cared. She paused. I miss you. It's not because of what we had, but because I still believe. You cared too. She didn't press send this time. She just saved it. That night, Rune joined her at the tower. He said, you helped us speak again. Kara looked at him. You helped me remember why we do this. Rune smiled slowly. Maybe banned from the Empire, but in the hearts of many. Earth is already a leader. Kara didn't answer. She just looked at the stars. Somewhere out there, a friend was still missing, but she had found new friends, new hope. She walked back to her room, tired, but peaceful. Even when someone you care about moves far away, even when they stop speaking. Can still choose to speak. You can still choose to build. You can still choose to care. That's what humans do. They give voice to the voiceless, and they keep the light burning, even in silence. Kara Ellis walked through the quiet halls of the old spaceport on Niran 4, a moon once ruled by the Galactic Empire. The walls were cracked, the lights dim, but the rooms were now full of people alien and human working together to restore life. It was a place forgotten by many, but not by Earth. Kara sat alone in the corner of a large dining hall. Around her, laughter and soft music filled the air. Zellery children played with human engineers, soft-skinned singer from the moons. Native people performed songs in 3 languages. The energy was warm, kind, full of life. But inside her, Kara still felt a quiet sadness, because someone was still missing Jor-El. It had been over a month since she had last messaged him. She had stopped waiting, or at least she told herself that. But the truth was simple. She missed him. She missed his calm voice, his thoughtful questions, the way he used to challenge her, yet also believe in her. He had moved away from her not just in distance, but in heart. She wanted to reconnect, but she didn't know how. Every message she had sent was met with silence. Still she thought of him every night before sleep, wondering where he was, what he was thinking. If he remembered her, earlier that day, she had helped install a communication link for a local school. As she worked, a Telron boy looked up at her and asked, "Why do you help us if your world was banned?" Kara paused for a moment, then smiled. "Gently, because we don't stop caring just because we were told we don't belong." The boy tilted his head. "That's a human thing," as Kara said. It's very human. Later in the afternoon, a small group of travelers arrived. One of them was a quiet man from inside the Galactic Empire. His name was Laren, a teacher who had heard about the consortium and wanted to see it for himself. He sat with Kara under the stars. "Curious, I saw a video of you once," he said. "Speaking at the Senate, my students loved your words. They asked me why did they ban her. I had no answer." Kara looked up at the sky. "I still don't have an answer. But I stopped waiting for one." Laren nodded. "Do you ever hear from the Empire?" She shook her head slowly. "No. Only silence." Laren hesitated, then added, "I heard a rumor that some senators want to speak with you. Quietly. That your name is whispered inside the halls now." Kara blinked. "Why?" "Because they see what you've built. Because people are starting to wonder if the Empire was wrong." That night, Kara sat alone again in her room. She thought about Laren's words. Her name, whispered in the Empire. Could Jor-El be one of those voices? She didn't know, but it made her heart ache again. That deep feeling of wanting to reach someone. Of missing someone who once mattered so much. She picked up her tablet. Opened the recording app. She didn't plan what to say. She just spoke Jor-El. She whispered, "I don't even know if this message will reach you. Maybe you've deleted my name. Maybe you've moved on. I would understand." She looked down for a moment, then continued, "But I still miss you. Not because I want something from you. Just because you mattered to me. You helped me believe. We could build something new." She smiled softly. "We're building it now. With or without the Empire. Oh, but I still hope. Quietly, secretly, that maybe one day you'll want to see it for yourself." She paused, her voice shaking. "I don't hate you. I just hope you're okay. I still care." She saved the message. Didn't send it. But speaking the words helped her breathe again. The next morning, Kara stood before a group of children from 3 species. She told them stories of Earth of oceans and forests, of music and dance. She showed them pictures of snow, deserts, and cities filled with light. One child asked, "Is Earth still sad because it was banned?" Kara smiled warmly. "Maybe a little, but we learned something special." "What?" the child asked. "That when someone closes a door on you, you can still build your own door and open it to others." That day, a group of teachers from the Empire requested to join a virtual meeting with the consortium. It was small, quiet, unofficial, but it was a start. Kara listened with her heart full. The Empire had tried to forget Earth, but Earth had become something the Empire could no longer ignore. Not with fire, not with hate, but with quiet strength. With human hope, somewhere beyond the stars. Maybe Jor-El heard her message, maybe not. But either way, she kept building. She kept caring. She kept going. Because that's what humans do when they feel distant. They don't give up, they grow. Kara Ellis stood in the heart of a great open-air hall on the planet Lumana, where glowing plants lit the walls and peaceful music floated in the air. Around her stood humans, aliens, and leaders from dozens of small worlds. Some of them once lived in fear. Some had no voice. And now, they stood together. It was the first consortium of Free World Summit, hosted by Earth. But it was not held on Earth. It was held on a world where 3 species co-governed equally, proof of what the consortium was trying to build. Still, Kara's heart felt heavy, because one chair near the back remained empty, a seat reserved quietly. Just in case Jor-El Tan came, she hadn't heard from him, not in weeks, not in months. She had sent messages, spoken words into the quiet. Waited. But silence remained. He had moved away not just in space, but in spirit. Still, some part of her couldn't let go, because she remembered who he had been. The way he listened. The way he believed. The way he once said, "Your people shine brightest in the dark." She missed that voice. Missed that friendship. Missed that hope. Before the summit began, Kara walked out to the garden near the meeting hall. The flowers glowed softly, opening under the twin moons. A soft wind blew, carrying the sense of a world full of life. She sat on a bench and stared up at the sky. "Where are you, Jor-El?" she whispered. She knew he might never come back. Maybe the Empire had changed him. Maybe fear had frozen his heart. Maybe he had simply let go of what they had shared. Still, her heart remembered. And still, she hoped. The summit opened the next morning. Kara stepped forward to speak. Her voice was calm, but full of quiet fire. "We are not here because we were accepted," she said. "We are here because we refuse to give up." She looked around the room, at faces that once knew pain, at people who had once been ignored, now standing tall. "This," she said, "is not a human empire. This is a human choice. To open hands, not raise fists. To offer peace, not power." There was silence, then gentle applause. Then cheering Kara bowed her head, tears in her eyes, not for victory, but for the journey. That night, back in her room, she opened her tablet again. Still no message, still no word from Jor-El. She stared at the screen, then softly whispered into the recorder. "Today we opened a door. And even though you weren't there, I still imagined you sitting at the edge of the hall, smiling." She paused. "I miss you, Jor-El. Not to go back to what was, but to show you what is. What we built, what we've become." Oh, she saved it again, didn't send it. But her heart felt lighter. The next morning, something unexpected happened. A message, short, private, encrypted, from Jor-El. Her hands shook as she opened it, just. A voice, no video. His voice. "Kara," he said, "I never forgot you. I never stopped believing in what you stood for, but I was afraid. Afraid of losing everything. Afraid of speaking out." There was a pause. "Now I see what you've built. And I am ashamed I wasn't there sooner. But I want to be there now, if you'll still allow me." Tears filled her eyes. She covered her mouth with her hand, breath catching, then smiled. "Hope," answered hours later. The last shuttle arrived on Lumana. It was quiet, unmarked. One figure stepped out, tall, familiar. Jor-El. Their eyes met, and in that moment, Kara didn't feel distant anymore. Not because everything was perfect, but because the silence was broken. They walked side by side through the garden. No long speeches, just simple words. "I'm sorry." He said. "I'm glad you're here," she replied. That evening, the summit held its final meeting. Jor-El didn't speak. For the Empire, he didn't wear any badge. He just listened and watched as the galaxy changed. Afterward, Kara stood on the balcony alone once more, but this time her heart was calm. She had felt distant for so long, lost in silence, floating without answers. But now, she had a bridge again, and it reminded her. Sometimes hope waits quietly. Sometimes it walks away. But sometimes it returns. Because that's what humans do. They open their hands. They wait. They believe. And sometimes miraculously they are met halfway. Kara Ellis stood on the deck of the Open Hand, now older but wiser. As the ship floated above a new planet where the consortium planned to build its next shared city, below, the land was green, wide, and untouched, waiting for homes, schools, gardens, and songs from many voices. Kara had seen many stars, many faces, and many tears over the past years. She had seen rejection, silence, loneliness, but she had also seen something stronger: hope, connection, human spirit. And now, that spirit had become something real. Not a government, not an army, but something the galaxy had no word for. Some called it a movement, others called it the Human Empire, but Kara never used that name. She just called it home. Oh, God. Jor-El stood beside her, quiet and peaceful. He had not spoken much since he returned, but he was always near, always listening, always helping. They still hadn't talked about everything. Some pain stays deep, but now they shared smiles, quiet nods, gentle moments. And that was enough. Kara still remembered the months she had spent missing him, the nights she sent messages into silence, the sadness of feeling close to someone once, and then feeling so far away. But she had never stopped believing, and somehow, that belief had brought him back. They sat together in the garden of the ship that night, watching the stars. The garden had plants from a dozen worlds. Air smelled of mint and sweet fruit. Jorl broke the silence. You never gave up on me. Kara looked at him softly. I wanted to, many times, but my heart didn't know how. He smiled faintly. That's very human, she chuckled. It is. He looked up at the stars. I watched everything from a distance. The way Earth helped others. The way you never used force. The way you shared instead of ruled. It humbled me. Kara nodded. We didn't want revenge. We just wanted to belong. And when we couldn't, we made a place where others could. The next day, the Consortium's council met. Leaders from 50 different planets now worked together, Zellar, Telron, Lumani, and more. Earth no longer led alone. It guided, shared, listened, and yet everyone knew who had lit the first spark. The human who had once been silenced now stood in the center of a new future, not because she shouted, but because she stayed kind. After the meeting, a message arrived. From the Galactic Empire itself, official, public, simple. We request to attend the next Consortium Summit. We come not to lead, but to learn. Kara read the message slowly. She did not smile. She did not frown. She simply said, we'll leave a seat open. Just like she had once left a seat for Jor-El. Later, she walked through a school built on the HLC. New World. Children ran between glass domes, speaking many languages. One group sang a song from Earth. Another shared food from Telron. A little girl ran up to Kara. Are you the human who built all this? Kara knelt down. No, she said. With a warm smile, many hands built this. I just believed it could happen. The girl tilted her head. Even when no one believed in you? Yes, Kara said. Even then, the girl smiled wide. That's strong. Kara nodded. That's human. That night, Jor-El joined her again in the garden. He placed something. In her hand, it was a tiny metal token. Simple, round, with her name on one side. What is this? She asked. My people give these to those who change the direction of rivers, he said. You've changed more than that. Kara held the token. Tightly, I didn't do it alone. No, Jor-El agreed. But you didn't stop when you were alone.
Oh.
That's what made the difference. The stars above were quiet, but Kara no longer felt distant from them, or from the people she loved, or from the world, because humans. When they're pushed away, even when they're silenced, even when they feel lost, they keep loving, they keep reaching, keep hoping, and sometimes that hope builds something greater than empires. It builds a future where everyone belongs, and that is the most human thing of all.